Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament. I'm reading the third letter of John. And you'll see if you've worked through the second letter, there's a lot of things in common with, expressions in common with the second letter, but also quite a few slightly more tricky and idiomatic expressions in this third letter. So the first paragraph, ho presbyteros gaio te agapeto hon ego agapo en aletheia. Agapete peripanton euchomai se odustai kai hugi ainen, kathos odutai su hepsuke. Ekaren ga lian ekomenon adelphon kai maturunton su te aletheia, kathos su en aletheia peripates. Medzoteran tuton uk echocharan, hina akuo ta ematekna en te aletheia peripatunta. So the writer identifies himself as ho presbyteros, the elder, the comparative here, and presbus, meaning an old man, this is an elder, and then the recipient is this time is Gaius, which is a Roman name, beloved Gaius, and again you need to consult the commentaries on the identities or otherwise of these people, whom I love in aletheia, in the truth. This is an expression he uses quite a bit in the truth. I presume by this expression he's referring to his belief. Agapete, vocative, O beloved one. Euchomai, I pray. Peripanton, well, it's a fairly standard expression in Greek, beyond all things, so in every way. So I pray that in more than all things, so in every way, I pray for you, hodustai. This is from you hodoo, I think is the verb, and it's hodo. It's a late verb, but it's quite common in the Septuagint. It originally means to have a good journey, and then it can be used metaphorically in the sense of to succeed or prosper. So I pray in every way, or almost more than anything else, for you to prosper, and hugiainen, and to be healthy, to be physically well. We cognate with our word hygiene, of course. And to be physically well, to be healthy. Kathos, just as your soul, hepsuke su, you odutai, prospers, or is prospering. Ekaren galian, this expression back in 2 John, I think. It's technically an aorist passive here, ekaren, but often used in this causative sense. So, and it's translated simply as a simple past, and there's a variant reading here as well. It means, for I rejoiced exceedingly. It's almost I was caused to rejoice exceedingly. Now we get genitive absolute here. Comment on Adelphone, when the brothers arriving and bearing witness to the truth of you. Now perhaps it might mean testifying of you to the truth, testifying of you in the truth. It's the same expression we had in aletheia here. So perhaps it's something like testifying that you are in the truth. Others translated as testifying of your life in the truth, which pushes it a little bit because you only get just a su here. So in English you might turn this around. So when the brothers arrive and bear witness to your life in the truth, I am caused to rejoice lian exceedingly. Lian is a perfectly good Greek word, but this idea of doing something exceedingly has a Hebraic counterpart as well, so there may be a slight Hebraic interference here. Just as also you are walking in the truth. So usual use of peripatio, to walk or conduct oneself. Now we get this remarkable form, mezzoteron, which is only here in all Greek. It's an irregular double comparative. You get medzone, which is already a comparative, and then they've added onto it oteron, the comparative ending here. So it's only here in all Greek, and it's a irregular double comparative. So I do not have joy, and then agreeing with that is the mezzoteron, greater than these things. So we'd say, I do not have greater joy. Now the hina is just the perhaps almost when. So that I might hear, must be subjunctive here, my children walking in the truth. So we'd say something like, I do not have greater joy than this, that, or perhaps when I hear my children walking in the truth. The two-tone is generally of comparison, so greater than these things. Next paragraph here, agapete, piston poies hot ean ergase, eis tu adelphus kai tu toxenus. Hoi imatures sansu te agape enopion ecclesias, hus kalos poieses propempsas axios tu theou. Hupega tu onomatos exaelthon maiden lambanontes apoton ethnikon. Hemes un ophelamen hupalambanen tus toiutus, hina sun ergoi genometha te aletheia. So, beloved one. Now, it's slightly idiomatic here. Literally, you are doing a faithful thing. Now, the e'an for an, in as much as, or perhaps it's almost whenever, so you are doing the right thing, the faithful thing, whenever you inasmuch as you are working with regard to the brothers. And the tuto here again is idiomatic. It's something like, and especially towards the strangers. So it's something like, inasmuch as you are working for the brothers, and especially to strangers, you are doing a faithful thing. They who have borne witness of you in love, it's that same expression we had before, so perhaps bear witness of your life in love now this time, rather than the aletheia. Enopion ecclesias, before the church, or before the assembly. Whether you can use the word for church at this stage is still debate. I think the word simply means the gathering together of the faithful. It's a genitive singular after enopion. Now the hus is a relative pronoun agreeing with zenus. So these foreigners, these strangers, whom, now we get poies kalos, kalos is an adverb, whom literally you will do well, propempsas, having sent them on ahead. Axios is an adverb. Again, the grammar's very odd here. It's worthily of God, in a manner worthy of God. It's not particularly good Greek here, but that's what it means there. So just to do that bit again, so, oh beloved, you are doing so inasmuch as, or in respect of the fact that you are working with regard to the brothers, and especially to strangers, you are doing a faithful thing. They who have borne witness to you, understand being in love, so by your love. It could actually be who have borne witness to the love of you, might be better, to your love, in opion before the assembly. The strangers you will do well if you having sent them, that's the autos, sent them ahead in a manner worthy of God. Difficult little section there. Hupagar to onomatos. They came out on behalf of the name. Now that's that use of onoma here in the sense of the name of Jesus, I think here. On behalf of Christian belief or something. So they came out literally on behalf of the name, maiden labontes, having received nothing from the ethnicone, well, from the Gentiles perhaps. So they came out on behalf of the name, receiving no help from the Gentiles. Hemes un, we therefore ought, that use of a phalo, we ought hupa to receive or welcome, from hupa plus lambano, tus toi utus, such people, hina, in order that, ginomotha, we might be, present subjunctive from ginomai, son ergoi, fellow workers, or workers with, te aletheia, the truth. Genitive, a dative after the son here. Next section here, egrapsati te ecclesia, al ho philoprotuon. I'll come back to that, to this first bit, for I have written something to the church, to the assembly, and variant reading on the tip. Some people put an "an" in there. I would have written something, but it's just as it is. I have written something to the assembly. But ho philoprotuon, and I'll have to go to a new page here, auton diotrephes uk epidecatai hemas. Now we get this interesting verb here, philoprotuon, which is very rare and very late, and it occurs first here. The meaning of it's fairly clear. It's one who loves to be in the lead, one who loves to be first, philoprotuon. So one who loves to take the lead, perhaps dominate, and it's agreeing with, so Diotrephes, the one who dominates them, presumably that's the ecclesia, as mentioned before, the assembly. So for the one who dominates them, Diotrephes, and I don't know whether we know anything about this guy, uk epidecatai hemas, is not receiving us. Diatuta ean eltho hypomeneso aututa erga hapoie, logois ponerois fluaron hemas, kai me akumenos epitutois utiautos epidecatai tus adelphus kai tus bulomenus kolue kai ectes ecclesias ekbale. So for this reason, on account of this, ean, if I might come, might have been ean might have been better, whenever I come, but if I might come, subjunctive, aorist subjunctive, hupomeneso, this is the future from hupomimnesko, So I will remind, I'll call to mind ta erga autu, his works, the works ha poie, which he does. And then we get a participle, fluorone. This is from fluorio, which is to talk nonsense, to babble. That's another meaning of this one. So talking nonsense about hamas, us. Logois ponerois, with wicked words. Could mean almost making fun of, but here it's talking nonsense about us with wicked words. Kai me akumenos epitutois, and not, now archeo is to suffice, and here I think it must be a middle here, so not satisfied epitutois with this. It could also mean, epitutois often means in addition to these things, not being satisfied. Neither does he, emphatic, receive the adelphus, the brethren, and we would probably say, but koue, he hinders, perhaps, he hinders those wishing to understand, receive the brothers. Kai ectes ecclesias ekbale, and he kicks them out, he throws them out from the assembly, from the church, if you will, from the assembly. So again, a little bit tricky here, might quickly do that again. So for this reason, if I come, I will call to mind the works which he does. We would say it's literally his works which he is doing. He making fun of us, talking nonsense about us with wicked words, and perhaps in addition to these things, not being satisfied. Neither, so we only get one ute, so neither does he himself receive the brethren, but he hinders those who want to, and he kicks them out, he throws them out from the assembly. Agapeto me mimou to kakon ala ton agathon, ho agathopoion ectu theoestin, ho kakapoion uk hiorakin ton theon, Demetrio marturetai apopanton kai hupa autes tesaletheas, kai hemes de marturumen kai oidas hoti hematuria hemonalethes esti. Beloved one, it's singular, vocative, me mimou. This is an imperative. It's a middle imperative, so do not mimic, do not copy. I think it's a middle imperative, but certainly it's connected with our word mimic. Do not copy evil, but understand copy good. The one doing good, agathopoion, participle, is from God. The one doing evil has not seen, perfect from horao, God. Now the mimeomai here I think must be impersonal. So, and it's passive, and it's it's a passive from marturio, and it's perfect passive. So witness has been borne about Demetrius by all, and by his and by the truth by truth itself, given the position of our text. In other words, that is a good fellow. So it has been witnessed for Demetrius by all, and by the truth itself. Understand that he is good. And we also are bearing witness, and you know, or from oida, that our witness, alethes estin, is true. Now we have the final greetings here. Pola akon grapsai soi ala al u thelo dia melanos kai kalamu soi graphane helpisdo de u theos se idein kai stoma prostoma lalesomin erene soi aspasdontai se hoi philoi aspasdu tus philus cat onoma. So I have many things to write to you, but I do not wish to write to you, dear melanos kai kalamu. Now in the previous letter I used melanos for the ink, but then they used the word for paper or parchment. Here he uses kalamu. This is a reed, like a quill used for writing. So I do not wish to write to you by means of ink and a quill, a reed, but I expect to see you immediately, and we will speak stoma prostoma, same idiom we had in the previous letter, literally mouth to mouth, hence face to face. Irene soi aspasdontai sehoi philoi. So peace be to you. The friends are greeting you, and then aspasdu, greet, it's a middle verb, so greet the dear ones. Cat onoma, well, means sort of by name or perhaps individually. One just minor point I just been thinking about while translating that, this mimou I think is actually just a contraction. I think the verb is mimou, and so this is an imperative, just a present imperative. Do not copy. It's not middle, you can tell from the accent there. I think it must be a contraction. I think it's mimou. I should have looked it up. So that is the end of the third letter of John.